leads to kind of the third point, which is obviously something I'm passionate about, which is opening up the other market, right? You've got about 15% of the population that is regularly active. 17% of the population owns a gym membership. So that puts, 85% of the population not active enough if they have a membership, and 83% of the population that doesn't have a gym membership. Now they might be active in other ways. So to me, the big opportunity there is looking at the healthcare and insurance markets. That's where more of the sedentary, the people that aren't as engaged, how do we reach towards those markets? That's a lot of the work that we're doing, and I'm doing behind the scenes, and some stuff that's coming out this fall for Trainer Plus, and some content that'll kind of come out with it, with some new partnerships and some new podcasts as well. So just speaking to those markets a little bit, because I just want to talk about just what we're doing there. Obviously, that's something that you look towards for Club 16 in terms of, okay, these are two markets here. When I say insurance in Canada, obviously we're talking about corporate wellness more than we're talking about health insurance, and then healthcare is healthcare. So coming from doctors, getting doctors to push people into the clubs. Obviously, we've seen a lot of research that shows that if people are active and healthy, their immune systems are higher. They've got more resistance to COVID. They deal with it better. They heal faster. All of those things with it. So I guess how do you see that evolving? Is there things that you guys are doing at Club 16? Is there stuff in the works, or what do you think the challenges are? The real honest challenges are for you to go and engage with that corporate wellness in those healthcare markets and look at those new opportunities for you at Club 16?
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate you working diligently with the healthcare side of things. So I do think that's an area that our industry, what a partnership that should be, and the opportunity there for a partnership that isn't there yet, not even close to where we could be to mutually benefit each other. So I appreciate you working on that side of things. I said I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. But in terms of corporate outreach and corporate wellness, we are working diligently on that. We have some creative ideas that are going to be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. In fact, the biggest challenge is getting in front of people. We're in a position now where people aren't comfortable grabbing a flyer from somebody, let alone having a meeting in person, or having somebody knock on their business door and say, hey, can I come in and talk to somebody? So all of those challenges are there for us. So we have to become real creative on how we communicate and reach out to people, because that's going to change as well. And I think that's something that we're looking at Club 16 is how can we build strong connections with people that we don't have relationships with today. And we're looking at other industries and how they've become creative with that. I don't want to share too much today about that because it's new to us, and but I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. It's like you can't just stand, even in your club and hand out flyers anymore. People don't want to touch them. There's a pandemic going on and like that. So we've become creative, and I think that's it. You have to become flexible and creative with your programs and structures and get out there. But the wellness thing, it's huge. I think that we haven't even touched on it, and I agree with you on that. From basically what I've seen, our industry is, knock on a doctor's door and, hey, can you let them know that, we're an option for them if they need support with what they're dealing with, whether it's mental health. But I think there's more to be done there and more relationships to be built. So I challenge you to continue with that, because that would be a highly effective way to help people across Canada.
I'll speak more directly to that stuff in both circumstances. And I'm happy to share some of the stuff that we've learned and preview some of the stuff that's kind of coming down the pipeline. I think that the challenge in corporate wellness is one that it can be taken advantage of from the fitness industry, just being very realistic about what businesses are facing. So their whole staff is now working remotely, and that never happened before. So before, wellness programs were predicated around subsidizing a gym membership from a gym that was close by to the office, or running an in-house boot camp, and giving them a wellness spending account. These are the type of things that they've done, and those don't work anymore. So now looking at ways of giving people, and this is what we're seeing more of and starting to see some pickup on here, which is if they're subsidizing their people getting access to content. So, hey, everybody has access to this content, and it doesn't matter where you work out, doesn't matter your fitness level, your fitness goal. Here's something that you can get as a value add that you can do from home, or you can do if you do go to a gym nearby you. So now they're more universally beneficial. It's something, we have a whole corporate wellness package that we give to gyms and trainers who then reach out to businesses they know, and they sell. The first starting point is just giving them premium access to our exercise and workout at the other side of our platform, which is Fitness Plus. and it evolving. So it's just like, here's some content for your people. And if they want to get a program from a trainer, they can. And we're starting to see some pickup on that because, as we said, companies are saying, okay, someone's working remotely. If I can get them a program they can do at home and someone's holding them accountable to it, a trainer's holding them accountable to it, that's the best form of fitness they can be doing right now. And so that's the type of wellness we're seeing that start to evolve. It's slow. It's really slow, but it's now people are starting to do it. I was surprised at how many newsletters, weekly newsletters I saw send out from like companies that weren't really like, you know, companies that were just like, hey, everybody, here's what you're doing working at home. And hey, here's 5 exercises you can do. And it was kind of thinking like,
right.
where did these 5 exercises come from? You guys are a clothing company or you know, whatever it is, right? And so you start to see that. So there's a real opportunity, I think, engaging with content and online programming. On the healthcare side, the challenge, I'll be really blunt about the challenge. The challenge is that the healthcare industry does not trust the fitness industry. And it's because the healthcare industry is evidence-based, it's patient-centered, and it's long-term behavior change focused. And the fitness industry tends to be somewhat unregulated, and it is sales-driven and very sales-focused and sort of more of a short-term focus as it has, and that's where the gap exists. So what we've learned is to close that gap down. If you can, the number one thing we see healthcare people like about some of these partnerships we're about to launch and some of the stuff we do is that people have a range of options that start at free, because a lot of people that are sedentary need help. They don't have the money to dedicate to a personal trainer, or not even necessarily a gym membership in a lot of cases. So is there lower cost options they can get started with? And using technology to kind of get people started down that pathway. And they want to see those long-term health outcomes tracked in an app that can show like what the progress was over time, so they can see proof in the pudding. And the behavior change approach is really, really key. You know, that they're taking, that it's about the patient being empowered to take those journeys, because they know it's a series of little steps that gets them into behavior and lifestyle change. And a lot of times walking into a gym is not the first step, and it's really intimidating. So it's really about understanding the dynamics coming from healthcare and meeting people where they're at. So we're doing a lot of things on that front, and we'll talk more offline, you and I, as obviously we're both Club 16, but I think that's the challenge. That's the challenge for the fitness industry. The fitness industry knows that fitness is a number one form of preventative care, and they want to help, but they haven't understood the language and the perception from the other side for a long time. It's starting to happen now, and I think that, again, there's a huge opportunity for the fitness industry to adapt and start to realize this, but it's going to take that realization. It's going to take the fitness industry taking a hard look at itself and realizing why that bridge doesn't exist right now, and what we need to do and what they need to do to sort of reach across to that place. And part of that's also going to be health specific programming, which is another thing that I'll preview now here. Not you know, this is close enough in our pipeline that we'll be putting out a specific content app that has health-based programming in it, and we'll have programming and libraries for trainers to use that are qualified to deal with specific health conditions. And that's another thing that I think is a big thing. You know, generally, yes, fitness is better for health. That's good. But the more specific the program can be to say, hey, we've got a trainer on site who deals with you know, cardiac rehab, who deals with diabetes, who deals with knee and hip replacement, for example. And we've got content that comes from experts that we can have a trainer that does that. So I think it's sort of that two-pronged approach. One is generally having options that are going to be more accessible and more affordable for people, and knowing that those people aren't going to be pushed too hard at the start, which is a really hard thing because we just know how our sales processes have always worked, and that's a real adaptation. And the other thing is dealing with health specific, you know, content and trainers and being able to speak directly, because at the end of the day, it is the 20% of our high risk population that is 80% of our healthcare costs. Yeah. And our doctors know that, and our healthcare system knows that. So it's going to take some work, to be honest with you. It's going to take some work in people adapting. And it's why we've gone from a sort of, here's our tools, everybody, and here's how you can do it, into evolving where we're going, which is just like, here's how it's done. Everybody, you know, come play together in this sandbox. Yeah. And that's what we've had to learn. And it's been some years of hard fought knowledge that we're about to sort of manifest in these next couple of months. So I'm excited to get it out for sure for people. And I'm curious to see, you know, now that you guys are through this, like how quickly do you think you can adapt to this new type of stuff, or how much there is an appetite for it?
Yeah, well, there certainly is an appetite for it. We're connecting this week, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, just definitely a side of the there's an opportunity there for sure, and I love how passionate you are about it. And I think, like I said, it's just an area that has not been explored enough, and clearly, like as you mentioned, I know that there's a relationship breakdown between our medical services and clubs, and you make a good point. It's probably the sales process. We talk about things like sales process, and they're not about that. So bridging that gap is going to be a challenge, and good for you to take it on. I love it.
Did you enjoy that clip? You can check out the whole podcast on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to get more content on the future of fitness.